Oh, we're live.
We're live. That happened faster than usual. Those 3 seconds
Things are weird today.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an understatement.
Okay.
Hi everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome
We're
back
live,
to,
apparently.
Facebook Live. Yeah.
Yes. It is week
23.
Oh my god, 23.
Yeah.
Week 23. And so today we're doing the third. We talked about this last week. The third edition of our lesser known series.
Yes. So we're going to be talking about our government documents collection.
Yes. So 2 weeks ago we talked about ebooks. Last week we talked about microforms, which I was very excited about. And then this week we're going to talk about GovDocs. And if you guys remember last week I was like, okay, Stephanie, this is going to be your jam.
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly call it my jam. I'd probably take people over there and say, please, government document librarians,
do your thing.
Yeah.
We should probably, before we jump right in head first into GovDocs, we should probably do our normal thing.
Introduce ourselves?
Yeah, maybe yes. Should also explain
Oh yeah.
the aging.
Well, let's go ahead and you might have noticed that approximately 52 years have elapsed since last week.
We've aged a little bit. We've changed the lighting up a little bit in here. And so Stephanie and I have both decided it makes us look like 107. So the lighting is still a work in progress.
Yes.
So if it looks like
So if we look really old, we're not.
the job has not aged just that much in a week. Although it sometimes feels like
some days are more aging than others.
Right. We're not quite there yet. Okay, so that's number one. We're still lighting in progress. Number two.
We have
number two. Okay.
I think they know. They know when we're going live.
I think they do. I think people know when we're going live and are like, we're just gonna stand out there and like look at them, and we're like, okay,
Yeah.
hey, okay. Anyway, we're with you guys.
Our
right
adoring
now.
fans. So.
Right. Okay, so that's lighting. Number two, who we are.
Yes. Who are we? Aside from awesome.
An aged.
We only grew more awesome with age. I am
fine wine.
Exactly. I'm Stephanie Evers-Ard, and I am the social sciences librarian here at the Marx Library at the University of South Alabama.
Look how you add that.
In the city of Mobile, Alabama.
In Alabama. Oh, we already did that.
Yeah.
On planet Earth.
In the United States.
It's like fourth grade all of a sudden. We're like, and then in the solar system, and then in the universe.
Okay, and who are you?
Oh, yeah, okay. So I am Beth Regan Shepard, and I am the Arts and Humanities Librarian here at the Marx Library at the University of South Alabama in Mobile, Alabama, on planet Earth. And today, like we said, we're going to talk about GovDocs.
So where should we start?
Let's actually start with the fact that it exists.
Yes.
It's a separate collection.
It exists. It is a separate collection.
Yes. So okay. So if you guys flash back a couple weeks, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 weeks now, we had the whole discussion about Library of Congress classification system, and Stephanie and I totally nerded out about it, right? Like, we got real excited. Remember we said that like 98% of the library is organized using a Library of Congress classification system, right?
So today we're going to talk about the 2% that uses another classification system. Yes.
So get excited. We're talking about something totally different today. And it is a sort of a collection within a collection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a collection within a collection, and it's separate. It's actually in a separate place.
Mm-hmm.
Our GovDocs collection is located, the print collection is located on the second floor of the Marx Library on the south side, so the old side of the second floor. So across the little walkways from reference.
So when you come in the second floor entrance, you're right there in our government documents collection.
Yeah, we talked a little bit, we may have mentioned a little bit last week, that's where the majority of the microforms live, actually all of them live, technically over kind of in the GovDocs section. So they're separate. And why they're separate is because they're organized differently.
Yes. So they use an organization system that we call SUDOC.
Which stands for the Superintendent of
That's
Documents system. I know, we studied. And big difference with that. Okay, so remember, flashback, Library of Congress, right? It's organized by subject area.
Mm-hmm.
Superintendent of Documents is organized by the originating body. So, like, whatever department of the government this might be, right? So the Department of Interior or Department of Justice or Congress, which I think is X and Y. Those are those. So majority of what's over there is called the Gov Docs, because they are generally government documents, so produced by bodies and agencies of the government.
Right.
Right. Stephanie's laughing.
I'm not exactly sure why I'm laughing.
So they're not like university publishers like the majority of our other collection would be. They are things published by the government printing office, the GPO, or just the bodies themselves.
Right. So different. I'm trying to think of some really good
Defense.
Yeah, different departments.
Commerce, Interior, Congress. What are some other justice?
Yeah.
Right. Like kind of what you think when you think the cabinet, those kind of ministers, that kind of stuff.
They're also producing all kinds of materials.
Yeah. So kind of I think it might make some sense to kind of some examples, right? So Department of Interior, they do like forestry stuff. So I'm just trying to think of kind of some things I've run across like before. So forestry would take an interest in cataloging like pests for certain types of peach trees, right?
Yeah, we actually have stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Christmas trees, all sorts of things. So things that forestry might take an interest in.
Didn't you in the Christmas display 2 years ago
put up a pest one?
Put up the one about Christmas tree pests.
I mean, you gotta watch out for Christmas tree pests.
Yeah.
They're real. So stuff like that. Commerce would be interested in trade stuff, right? So everything from the actual trade agreements down to a lot of raw data.
Yes, a lot of raw data. Also, kind of informational pamphlets that are given out to the general public too.
Good point.
Are going
right.
to be in there.
Yeah, because our Gov Docs, one of our Gov Docs librarians wanted us to make the point that it is information produced for the people and by the people, right? So it's not just super scholastic information. It's kind of stuff for everybody. So things about like healthy eating and
right, because there's stuff that's going to be very difficult to read, legalese, kind of bills and things like that. But there are also going to be things that are made for everyone, like brochures, like you said, about healthy eating, about avoiding like mental health awareness.
Yes. And also I was just thinking like the USDA put stuff out about like don't eat this sketchy taco restaurant.
Right.
Like stuff like that. So I mean like everything like here's the number that you should be paying attention to and what that number means. If it's in the 80s, you probably shouldn't eat there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like the health department kind of stuff. So stuff for just and everybody like information about healthy tattooing. I mean all sorts of stuff, right?
And there's actually let me see.
We've got some notes here.
Some notes here, a little list about their collections.
Yes, that's a good idea. So before we actually talk about our collection, we should probably say that kind of the depository system.
Okay.
So, and this again, I studied. So this is
yeah. I'm gonna let you handle this.
Okay, so depository system. Because it's information for the people, by the people, it's the government. They want you to have access to the information produced by the government, right? That's your right as a citizen. So they have set up a system. It's a Federal Depository Library Program, is what it's called. So the FDLP. And there are designated libraries within regions, okay? And there are two types of designations. There's a full depository and a selective depository. So each region has to have a full depository. So it collects essentially everything produced by the GPO. So we're talking about huge amounts of stuff. Our library is not a full depository. Ours is a selective depository. The full depository for our region is at the University of Alabama. So they collect everything. We do not.
Right.
We have our government documents librarians have decided what the focus of our collection is going to be. And it is.
Our primary mission is to serve the needs of the faculty, students, and staff at the University of South Alabama. We also serve the needs of the citizens of the 1st Congressional District of Alabama.
I guess it's this one.
This one.
Yeah.
With emphasis on Mobile and Baldwin counties.
Yeah, so they're particularly strong in materials from the following departments. So we've got agencies and departments. Census stuff, defense stuff, education, health and human services, and justice. And our awesome GovDocs librarians have also made a big push and focus to select and take materials that are related to the Gulf of Mexico and the southeast region of the U.S. So imagine BP oil spill, right? The horizon, okay, oil spill. The government was producing huge amounts of information very quickly about like what was happening and also long-term studies about what has happened. our library collects all that stuff produced by the government. So that's kind of, so if you are doing research on that topic and you want to know the government response to the BP oil spill, our library would probably be a good place to come and
Right.
look.
We're going to
because
have
we
all that
collected that stuff. Yeah. So that's our library's strengths and focuses, our GovDocs collection. Because it's produced by the government, the GovDocs collection is open to everyone.
Right. Anybody can use it.
So you do not have to be a student or a faculty member at the University of South Alabama to use said collection. It does circulate. So,
yeah, so you can check it out and take it home with you.
Yeah. And what else kind of do we want to say? Just general stuff about.
Well, I think we might note that a significant amount of number of resources
Online.
are also available online.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are actually some really nice LibGuides that we will put in the comments that talk a little bit about the collection, the kinds of things that are available, and have pretty clear directions on how to use.
Yeah, and some really awesome links too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll talk about how to use that SUDOC classification that we were talking about.
Which we're gonna talk a little bit
Yes,
about in a second.
that's very excited.
I'm very excited because I remember. Another cool part of our collection too, which I think might be of interest to some students and folks, is the map collection.
Yes.
So, as you imagine, the government produces tons of maps. I thought it was kind of cool that our main focus, as you'd expect, would be the Southeast region, so Florida, Georgia, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. But we have like forest, parks, and maps for the region. And we have an almost complete collection of soil survey maps from the USDA, which is really interesting, and a complete collection of topographic maps of Alabama from the USGS. So that's, if you're in, I mean, like, yes, that's geographers, typographers, that kind of thing, that's your jam. Or if you just want to map out your next hike.
Right, yeah.
There you go, your next hike in Cheehaw. Look at the topographic map. Yeah, mountains and stuff.
Well, we also have stuff about state parks and
tons of stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
Big weekend. Okay, and we do have we don't have a law school here at the University of South Alabama, but we do maintain I guess they would call it kind of a working law collection. And that's, again, just so that you can have access as a member of the public to, like, Alabama statutes, things like that.
So things like federal and state laws, you're going to be able to find, like, the original languages of laws, which is...
If you really want to know.
If you really want to find it, yeah.
People actually do come in here and ask, and I'm like, I don't know, let me find you a GovDocs library. I don't know.
And I actually, before we, my goodness, you're just tossing it aside.
I'm done with you.
Before we close, a little bit later, we should underscore how important it is to seek help from these government docs
we will underscore that. We'll underscore it right now.
Yeah. Okay, so they are experts in the collection. They know it inside and out. I think Vicky could find anything with her eyes closed.
I mean, seriously. And it's because it is a good point to mention that going, I think, from 2001 forward, the majority of the collection has been cataloged and is available to search through SouthCat, our library catalog. So you'll see records in there that will say, like, Marx Library Government Documents Collection. But prior to 2001, I don't think everything was cataloged.
No, it hasn't been.
Or migrated to the new catalog system. It was way before my time. I'm not that old, although I look at it today. But
so that means there's a lot of stuff over there that's not going to be discoverable through SouthCat.
But somebody like Vicky would just go like, "Oh yeah, it's right over here," and let me pull it.
Because they're getting all this stuff and they're putting it away.
Yeah,
so they know where it is.
But she also has an idea of, like, because government documents tend to come in kind of a series format. So she's like, "Oh, well, I have 85 of that, and that's the year you need." But we would not know that because it's not cataloged. Yeah. Okay. So do we want to talk about how it's organized a little bit? I'm going to struggle bus through this, but I feel like it's important a little bit.
Well, it's good to explain that it's not just arbitrary.
Right.
Like with Library of Congress, it can feel frustrating and arbitrary. So it's
and it's kind of hard. I mean, if you don't do this every day, it's difficult. I mean, I sometimes have to ask for assistance in the GovDocs collection because the numbers are so wonky.
Yeah.
Because they look like this. Can you see that?
Yeah, I think they can.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Messy. Okay, so when we talked about the SUDOC system, right, this is going to look a little bit different than a Library of Congress classification number. So an LC call number. The first indicator that it's a GovDocs beyond anything is you'll never see a colon in any Library of Congress classification system.
That's a really excellent point. As soon as you see that colon, you know what it is.
Yeah, you will never see that in LC. And so the SUDOC system divides its call number into kind of two separate parts. So this part before the colon, before the colon is called the stem. And this part behind the colon is the book number. And so if you kind of think about it, it kind of works a little bit like Library of Congress in that your first letter, as opposed to being a subject area, which was Library of Congress, this is going to be the originating body. So in this case, I stands for the Department of Interior. The next number is going to be the bureau within that larger entity.
Mm-hmm.
So like if it's Interior, this might be Forestry, or USDA, I think is part of Interior, right? So this is the bureau within that. I'm going to have to make sure I get this right. The next thing you'll run across is a period. Now, pay attention to the periods because the periods work differently than they do in Library of Congress classification system. So Library of Congress, a period functions like a decimal, right? So it's numeric. Right. We talked about a little bit like that. So it actually has a numerical indicator. In a SUDOC system, it does not. It is essentially a divider. So like, stop. Yeah. You're done. Like, it's more like actually a period. So let me make sure I got this right. So this is the series number, okay? So, and then this slashy means that this is a closely associated smaller subseries. Okay. The next thing after the colon, make sure I get this right, is the book number.
Right, book number.
And the book numbers will look different depending upon what kind of material it is. So it could be a monograph, a numbered monographic series, or a serial. Okay, that you don't need to know all that, but you do need to know, and this number at the very end is the date. So it's like 1998. Mm-hmm. Okay, the thing to know when you're looking for a SUDOC number is really this kind of beginning part, right? This part. So you're gonna look for the letter number, then it actually does kind of go numerically by like series, okay? So you'll see like 29, you'll see lots of other series like maybe 7, 8, whatever. So it's still kind of numeric, but it like kind of looks a little bit different. The other thing to pay attention to when you're looking in SUDOC is a lot of stuff is unbound in government documents.
That's right, yeah.
So unlike upstairs where you'll easily see on the like spine of the book, the call number, that's not so much the case sometimes with stuff up in GovDocs. So you might have to pull
it out and it'll be on the front.
Yeah. So it'll be on the front because it's not wide enough. Because remember, it's like Stephanie mentioned, a lot of it's pamphlet kind of material.
A lot of it is, yeah.
So smally stuff, kind of smallish.
So that means it's easy to miss something.
Yes.
And things will sometimes get like, I'm trying to think. They get mixed. Yeah, they get mixed up
or stuck together.
Or stuck together.
Or stuck in another thing, right? Like something eats the other thing by accident.
Which means if you're using government documents, don't put them back yourself.
Oh yeah, please don't. Never.
Never put anything ever back.
But especially GovDocs.
Yeah.
Because you'll never get it right. You'll never get it right.
I would never dream.
I would not be like, no. Okay, so we kind of talked about how they're organized. They're a little bit different. I think that may discourage some people from their use.
Right. Yes, it can be very intimidating to walk over there.
So let's talk about like why you would use stuff from GovDocs. Okay. Although it's a little intimidating. Sort of.
Well, I actually was helping a student who was writing about the American Care Act.
Okay.
Affordable Care Act.
You hear it so much referred to as Obamacare. You can't remember its full name.
Obamacare.
Right.
It's because my brain is very slow. Affordable Care Act, being that it was designed to make care affordable. And so we were able to find the original proposal for the Affordable Care Act.
Right.
And so they were able to use that in their research.
And I'm pretty sure you can also find like actual discussion on the Senate floor.
Oh, you absolutely can. Yeah, all those briefings are captured.
Yeah. So that's super cool. Like we were talking a little bit last week, my humanities and arts don't necessarily use the GovDocs collection as much. However, there's one big kind of caveat for that, and that's the census.
Absolutely, yeah.
So historians use the census like all the time, right? And there's census registers, which are just like the big numbers. So how many people under the age of 18 lived in Alabama in whatever, like 1850 or whatever. Oh, I got that because it's every 10 years.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
1850. But they're also like straight up registers, like how many, this is who lived in this house and this is how old they were and stuff like that. So historians love that kind of stuff. So that's a big one. And congressional records historians use depending on what kind of history they're interested in.
Right.
I imagine some of your folks, though, like your criminal justice
That's
folks.
what I was going to say. Yeah, my criminal justice people find crime statistics, of course, to be very useful.
And the government's going to be interested in that, right?
Yeah.
So, like the FBI.
Right.
Which you've heard a lot about of FBI crime statistics as of late. So, yeah.
So, so looking at, the types of crimes committed, where they're committed, crime maps.
Oh, that's cool.
So, lots of interest. A lot of it's online, but
yeah, I imagine the newer stuff is all online. Yeah,
the newer stuff's all online, so it's very useful to criminal justice folks who are looking for trends.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a lot of like raw data.
Oh yes,
right.
Okay,
so if you want to go back to the actual like raw collected data, GovDocs might be the best place to go for that kind of stuff, as opposed to something you'd get in an article, which is the synthesis of that data. Right. Okay. I've read a couple social science articles in my life, like one or two. Yeah.
One or two.
Just a couple. One or two.
So much for that gen ed curriculum, right?
For real. I was like, whatever. Sociology exists. So, yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that's just like lots and lots of, business folks. So we don't do business over here. We have a separate business library, but I imagine business folks would be very interested in, like GovDocs, commerce and things like that. I don't know. People are interested in GDP, right?
I would think so.
I mean, it's a big deal. So, I mean, there's all that banking legislation.
Right,
There's new banking legislation today being voted on. So, all right.
So all of that is captured in government documents. So.
And collected for you.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, it's kind of radical, right? So that all of this stuff gets captured and kept, hopefully, forever.
Right.
So that no one can just sneak one by on the American public, right? Because we can go back to the record.
That's right.
Look at it. And it kind of keeps our government accountable, if we think about it. So it is kind of radical.
And I guess that's why there's some wariness about moving these records online.
There are, right?
Yeah.
Because who says they can't change that information that's up there?
Change, delete.
Yeah. Who knows, right? So
maybe that's verging into paranoia.
But you can thank your government document librarians for kind of a check and balance on our government, right?
That's right.
They keep them accountable to you, the people. Hooray! So on that kind of radical note, we are at 24 minutes. Anything else we want to say about GovDocs? Use them.
Use them, yes, and our, like we said, our government documents librarians are very competent.
Yes,
and very eager.
So we should probably actually name them.
Oh yes, instead of just calling them the government document librarians. Okay, they are
Vicky
Tate.
She is the head of government documents, right? And then I'll never get Paula's full title, but it is Paula Webb. She's our government document outreach something or other library. Anyway, she's a government documents librarian too. So both of them can totally assist you with any kind of government documents research that you have.
And speaking of Vicky, let me make sure I addressed all of the things that she wanted.
Yes. So yeah, if you guys, while she's looking, if you have any questions, make sure you guys get in touch with them. And if you get in touch with either one of us, we will promptly put you in touch with one of them.
Oh, I think it is worth noting that the depository was established in 1968.
Oh, nice. So about as old as the university is, right?
Yes, and so they're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year.
That's a big one.
And so there are going to be some celebration events that you'll be seeing posted on social media.
Ooh.
Yeah, along with our other mini celebration events. But it's Vicky wanted me to point out that even though they were established in 1968, their materials go back to the 1800s.
Oh yeah.
So don't mistake, like, they don't.
Oh, right. The collection is only from 68 forward.
Right.
No, because there's like congressional record I've seen from like 1830s.
Right. So they got all the old stuff over there too.
New stuff, old stuff, all the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're going to be doing some cool stuff, like maybe some tours.
Yeah, they're doing some tours.
So if
you're
interested,
some speakers.
Yeah, so if you're kind of interested in more about GovDocs from some of the GovDocs experts, show up to some of these things. It'd be kind of cool. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be there. We'll be there.
As you might have noticed today, I can certainly learn some more about government.
You can come
documents.
hang out with your Facebook Live librarians if you come to some of these GovDocs events.
Yeah.
The snack table.
The snack table.
Snacks. All right, guys. Okay, so all GovDocs. So that's the end of our lesser known library series. What are we moving on to next week? Do we remember?
Spring break's not next week. It's the week after, right?
Is it ever gonna come? It's
know,
not this
it's-
next week. It's the week after, I think.
I can't remember what we're doing. I remember what we're doing for spring break, but not next week.
I don't know. It'll be exciting. Whatever it is. It'll be thrill a minute.
It'll be fun.
So we don't have any questions about GovDocs. Apparently,
No, I don't
everybody
see
already
any
knows about them, so that's
questions.
fine. All right, so let's do the pleasantries we always close with.
All right. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, do that right now while you're here. Just click the little thumbs up. We're also on Twitter as we're just we're also on Twitter as USA_library, and we are on Instagram as Marx.library. And you can find all previous episodes of Marx Library Live on YouTube as Marx Library Live.
Yes.
All right, so stay tuned for more information about our upcoming Facebook Live episodes
Yes.
and also the library's anniversary celebration events.
Yeah, and we will put, like Stephanie mentioned earlier, in the live event. What do you even call these things? Our live.
Our live.
We will drop the links to those lib guides that we mentioned, those awesome GovDocs lib guides, into the comments so that you guys can snag a couple, take a look at them. They're great. They go into kind of all the topics that you'd be interested in potentially. So
Yeah, and lots of really useful information on how to find and use
how to
them.
find and use the collection. So I can't encourage you enough to actually use the resources that are over there. It's even 102, even you guys out there that are in 102 writing 102 papers.
Yeah, if you're writing paper about gun control,
Hello, who's more interested in gun control?
yeah. We have all kinds of stuff for you over there.
Fracking.
Yeah.
Who's more interested in fracking?
Capital punishment,
Right. I mean, they're the people doing the.
I mean-
the yeah,
punishing.
doing the punishment.
That's, yeah.
On that really sad note, we will sign
But,
off.
yeah, but really, just about like all those really popular composition topics, they're gonna have stuff for you over there.
Yeah, abortion.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Have a nice
everyone.
week. Hopefully you're making it, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Next
at 2
Tuesday.
o'clock.
Bye, everyone.